It's been 21 weeks since Dragon Ball Daima started, and just like that, the series has come and gone. And man, it went out with a bang. So last week we had that cliffhanger with the epic Super Saiyan 4 transformation. This episode didn't waste any time. We didn't even get the intro. It just goes straight into the fight. It just starts off with Goku and Goma squaring up. Goku, he rushes in and he hits Goku or Goma, excuse me, with this huge right hand, just hits him right in the face, like all the way down to the ground, and he just sends like these cracks just throughout the entire like fighting stage. And this thing's big. Like it doesn't really look like compared to the palace. You're like, oh, the palace doesn't look that big, but that thing's huge. And this place is at least just as big as that because they're flying all over at these crazy speeds, and this is a big arena. It's kind of like the Tournament of Power stage. Like it doesn't look that big at first glance, but then you see some real shots of it, like up close, or and they're massive. Um, so he hits Goma with this devastating hit, and they're just clashing, colliding. Goku has the upper hand. He's landing numerous heavy blows on Goma. He hits this significant. Oh, it's so beautiful. He hits Goma with this devastating uppercut, just straight to the body gut. The third eye powers Goma up, and he grows even bigger. Like you see his like abs and everything. Like this thing is just. I don't know how big this thing has made Goma, but that thing has powered him up so many times. So he's able to take some of Goku's attacks, and Goma, he does this really cool thing. I was hoping he would do this before. In the intro, we kind of see a glimpse of it, but he's in a small natural state, and he summons his staff, and he fires off all these like key spheres. He does the same thing here. So he summons his magic staff, and he just creates just tons of like these dark spheres, and like thousands of them, and they're just pelting Goku. Like they're just rushing in at him. And if you're a Kingdom Hearts 2 fan and you know that Xemnas fight at the very end, like where he surrounds them in like that dome of lasers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And Goku, so he's he's dodging all these things and these attacks, and he's starting to feel the fatigue. Like you can see it in his face. But Goku's not done. He powers up again. They continue to clash. Goku drives Goma and like into the heart of like the giant like fighting arena, and we get to see like the inside of it, and it's crazy. Like you would think it's just rock, right? But they go inside and it's just filled. Like every inch of this thing is just covered in like this dark magic. Like you see these giant like purple crystals, and it looks crazy. It looks like they're in another dimension. And so Goma, he creates these like green spheres, and like it's just a few of them, but from these green spheres, they just shoot off hundreds, like all of them. They shoot off hundreds of individual lasers at Goku, and he's flying around trying to get past them and stuff. And Goku dodges them, and he hits Goku again, takes the fight outside, and Goku, he gets this cool moment. It reminded me of the Broly movie where Broly's like holding Goku by the face, and where he's dragging him through the glacier. Goku does like the same thing. He hits Goma and he's just dragging him across like this mountain, and it looks really good. This episode was beautiful. Like the fighting, the action, it just looks so good. It's so beautifully done. So Goku sends Goma crashing into the ground, and finally we see Goma. He's just exhausted. He's panting. He's sweating. He's finally showing fatigue, and so that's actually saying quite a bit for the Super Saiyan 4 form, um, because all the people he was fighting before Goma, like Super Saiyan 2, 3, Goku and Vegeta, Tamagami 1, Majin Buu, Do, Glorio, Piccolo, Vegeta, all of them. And he wasn't even breathing hard, but now he's starting to feel it. And so Goku powers up all this energy and he's just shaking the demon realm. It looks so good. Like I can't describe how these visuals look. You need to watch this episode. And he's just powering up and powering up. And Goma, he's like firing these blasts at Goku, and Goku like it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look closely, you can see Goku's like his aura around him is shielding him from these attacks. Like Goma can't break through, and then everything just goes silent. Like the music stops, everything's quiet, and you just see Goku, he's doing the hand motions, starts building up this Kamehameha, and Goma's just his eyes go wide. He's like, "Oh no," you know. So Goku starts charging up this big Kamehameha, and Goma knows he cannot get hit by this thing. This thing is bad news, and so he fires back. Goku fires, uses all his strength. Goma fires back, and they have this epic clash. It looks really good, and they're struggling. Goku's just screaming his guts out, and Goma's screaming his guts out, and you just see a glimpse of Goku's friends and everyone. They're just cheering him on, except for Vegeta. He's cheering him on, but he's inside, doing it inside, and Goku unleashes like all of his power. He just lets it all out, and gosh, this is so good. He punches through Goma's attack and punches through Goma himself, like just straight through the body, just blast this hole straight through him, just boom. And I thought he was dead. I thought Goku just straight up offed this man. and and so he blasts this hole through Goma, and his Kamehameha just keeps going, like it goes up into the sky, and then it just straight up just blows through the first, second, and third demon worlds. Like we see Tamagami's 2 and 3, like they're just standing there, and you just see this massive Kamehameha just punching through both of the like all three worlds, and it looked so good. Like please go watch this episode. You will not be disappointed in the action. So I thought Goma was dead, but as always, the third eye powers him up, and we just see, we hadn't seen it do this yet, but so I guess that was kind of cool. So he uses his magic, and like those like spires, like those curved spires, like around the fighting arena. Um, Goma uses his magic on, or the third eye, I guess, uses its magic on all of those spires, and it just circles all of them, and it just shields off Goma, and it pushes everybody away. Um, but then it starts to heal Goma, and like you see the giant hole in his chest, and it just closes up. And I almost forgot to mention, so last episode, like right at the end, Arinsu, she uses the Book of Magical Items and learns of a way to remove the third eye. And so Goku strategizes with Piccolo and everybody, like, hey, in order to do, or she tells them, she's like, hey, in order to get that thing out of there, hit him 3 times in the back of the head. And so everyone gets in position, kind of. Goku powers up when he becomes Super Saiyan 4, and Piccolo's ready. He's ready for a sneak attack. And he tries it in this episode. He rushes in, and it was after Goku bodied Goma. Like he stunned him so bad. Piccolo comes in, hits him once, hits him twice, goes to hit him a third time, but unfortunately Goma backhanded him, and that was the end of Piccolo. And so, but back where we were, when Goma regenerates, um, like all this wind and stuff is just blowing, and it like pushes Goku and everyone away, or just kind of around a little bit, just shifting everybody around. And unfortunately for Goma, Majin Ku is floating by, and he's holding the Book of Magical Items, that big old book, and he just turns to Goma and winds up and just smacks him across the back of the head with the book. And he's like, boom, one, boom, two, boom, hits him a third time, pops the third eye out of his head, and Goma returns to normal. He just shrinks. Like, yeah, just like that. Majin Ku knocks the eye right out of his head with the book, and Goma's just laying on the ground, back to normal, unconscious. And the third eye, so it rolls back over to Glorio, or not back over to him. It just lands on the ground and it rolls over in front of him. And everyone just cannot believe what they just saw. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I was not expecting Ku of all people, of all people, even though I'm very happy that did this. So the eye rolls over to Glorio, and they're just looking at it. Glorio just raises his foot, just squishes this thing, and that was it. The fight was over, and Majin Ku comes down, and everyone just cannot believe what just happened. And they just Pansy starts praising him, and everyone's like cheering for him and stuff. And uh, Majin Buu, he deserves this. He's a, he's been a trooper ever since he appeared. He's been a good guy. Uh, and he immediately goes over to Arinsu, and he's like, "Hey," and stuff, um, and she just looks back at him and just kind of throws her arm back and just kind of playfully nudges him, like, "Hey, good job." I'm not gonna say it, but I'm giving you the sign. And so that was a really sweet moment. And so Goma, he's restrained, and I thought it looks like he's restrained in bungee gum. Do you remember, you know, OG Dragon Ball fans? I'll say real fans, who don't skip it. You'll know exactly what that is. And so he's just kind of wrapped up in this, some sort of restraint, and this jar, like this magical jar, comes over, and Marba is there, the witch who apparently created Majin Buu. She shows up again, and with her, Arinsu's there, and Goma is he's arguing, and she's like, you know what? You can spend the next 100 years repenting for what you did inside this jar. And Goma's like, wait a second, wait a second. He's just pleading his case. Uh, he's like, I wasn't that bad, was I? He's like, I'm not that bad. And Piccolo's like, well, no, he's kind of got a point. He didn't murder Dende when he had the chance, and so I guess he's not too bad. So let's just make it 99 years. And so she, Marba, or no, it's Arinsu who does it. Um, so she uses her magic, and this looks really cool. This jar looks really pretty, and this whole sequence, it looks like the Mafuba. It's a little different color, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. And even Dende is looking at this. He's like, "Hey, isn't this?" And then he doesn't really say what it is, but I think they were just implying that this is the Mafuba, and that's really interesting if that technique actually originated from the demon realm, and that's before like Mutaito and Roshi have ever learned about it. Um, But yeah, so they seal Goma and Dagasu, who was there. They sealed them both away in this jar, but but it's a magical jar, and they actually say that it's actually pretty sizable inside, um, and that there's like there's just stuff to do in there. They're like, oh, here's your pool, here's this, and there's a garden, and there's even a bunch of video games and stuff for you to play to entertain yourself, and Degasu, so you have someone to talk to and stuff. And so those two are sealed away. And so everybody's gathered together. And Arinsu, she asks, she's like, now that Goma's out of the picture, who's going to be the Supreme Demon King? Supreme Kai, or Nahare, he comes over and he says, he actually suggests that she does it, that she becomes Supreme Demon Queen, since she ranks the highest, and and he that she actually kind of surprised him because he had thought that she had lost her way a long time ago and was, had no good in her anymore, or had just changed her ways completely, to be too far gone. But he says that he was actually surprised because she still has a conscience, she still has a heart. And so he actually recommends that she does it. And she's just like, you know, my ambition is not changing. My ambition to make the demon realm stronger so that it can rival the outside world, it remains the same. Nothing's changing in that regard. And she refuses the position. She even says that even if she did do it, without gaining power from the Dragon Balls, that she would be overthrown eventually by somebody. And so she wouldn't be good for the role. And Neva, he states that the one who defeated the Supreme Demon King is the rightful choice. And so everyone just kind of like looks at Goku for a second, like, no, what do you mean? For the person who defeated him? Wait a second. And they all like look over to Majin Buu, and Arinsu just can't believe it. She's just like, what? And Ku, he hops up and he's like, no, and he accepts the position. He like materializes like this magic cape, like the same one Deborah wears, and the same one Goma had, and everybody. So he materializes that cape, uh, and he immediately appoints. He's like, okay, I'll take the position, and he appoints Rinsu. He's like, and I'm gonna name you Vice Supreme Demon King. And because you're an excellent, he's like, I'm an excellent judge of character. And he states that he chose her because she is ambitious, that she has a pretty good heart, and on top of all that, she's very intelligent, which is very true. She kickstarted all these events. She basically baited Goma into going to Earth, wishing for the dragon or taking the Dragon Balls, wishing for Goku and the others, doing something to get them to come to the demon world so that they could defeat Goma and she could take over. And she created Majin Buu and Ku. She has all this magical knowledge, and she's a really good choice. So she's gonna be a very good um, support for him. And above all, she is his mother. She created him and gave him life, and he loves her for that. Uh, and so he also appoints Marba, Neva, Du, Glorio, and King Kadon as ministers. So basically, as like council members, people who can like guide him and give him advice and use their knowledge and everything, all of these like special traits that they have, and so that they could be very effective rulers and leaders of the demon realm. um Ku thanks Goku and the others. Even he asks, he's like, hey, would any of you like to minister? And Goku actually raises his hand for a second. He's like, nah, we're going home. And Ku's just like, okay, anyone else? And he's just so funny. And Hibis, he raises his hand. He's like, I would like to do it, is how he talks. And we get this sweet moment. So Ku, he goes over to Arinsu. I swear they were actually the main characters. Arinsu, or Arinsu, Glorio, and probably Majin Ku and Goma. Goku obviously is the real answer, but I think if he wasn't counted, I think they're the most important characters in Daima. And so he goes and takes Arinsu's hand, and he's like, let's work to make the demon realm a scary yet good place to live. And she agrees. She's like, I okay. And so who'd have thought? Who would have thought that Majin Ku of all people would become Supreme Demon King? And even Piccolo is just like, him? I actually I have no objections. That's a great choice. So back in the third demon world, Pansy, she has like a giant like mine cart, this giant like container full of Magilite. And she's like, "Hey Bulma, here's all that Magilite I promised." And I took it from Goma's storage. And so Bulma is hooked up with all this extremely powerful like energy source. It's really cool. And Goku and Vegeta are talking. And so, okay, I'm gonna save this. I'll save my issues for the end of this. So Goku and Vegeta are talking, and Vegeta he's kind of groaning and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, I could have won," blah blah blah. And Goku's just like, "Oh, why are you so worried about that? Why are you still concerned about that?" And Vegeta's like, "Well, you kept that transformation a secret from me." He's like, "Oh, you mean Super Saiyan 4?" And so there's the name drop. It's official in in the story. That's what they say. Um, but a lot of people didn't believe that's what they were gonna end up calling it. Like they thought it was gonna be called something else, like Super Saiyan Primal or something like that. But they're just going with Super Saiyan 4, and honestly, it probably is the best choice because it's simple. Everyone already knows it. There's no point in trying to come up with a goofy name just to try to make it more unique. And so Goku says, that because Majin Buu was so strong, he'd been training really, really hard afterwards. And so it he doesn't outright say that he unlocked the form because of this training, but it does seem that he was implying that he knew there was something beyond Super Saiyan 3. And he even states, he's like, I wasn't even sure it would work. So he's like, I didn't know that, what I was gunning for was going to be a thing. And I think that's where Neva comes in. Goku was working towards something, but I think with that magical boost that Neva gave him, that was enough to push Goku to becoming a Super Saiyan 4. And so I don't think it was Goku training and unlocking Super Saiyan 4, within that year after Boo's death, but his training was building up towards this, and then with Neva's magic, that was enough. And so I think that's the answer to that question. Um, and so Vegeta is like, uh, oh well, it's just like another Super Saiyan bargain sale, you know, and Goku's just kind of laughing at him a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, you had Super Saiyan 3. You used Super Saiyan 3 too. You know, you got something out of this." And Vegeta's just like, "What? What? Hold on. That wasn't no. That was Ultra Vegeta 1." You know, and he's just, they're just goofing off, just kind of butting heads a little bit, as they always do, which is great. Um, and so then we get another cool scene with Neva, Dende, and Piccolo, and those three are talking. I think for the first time in all of Daima, where they're actually talking together. And Neva, he asks Dende if had considered living there, um, and that he could do so comfortably. And Dende says that he has duties he needs to fulfill on Earth, and then Piccolo says the same thing. But Dende does say that he will ask the Nameks who had lost planet Namek, who had lost their home world and had been reduced to nomads because planet Namek was destroyed. New Namek was created, but we also know that they're not all there. They're not all, not every single Namekian in the universe lives on Namek. I think that could have been a nod to Monito because he's on planet Cereal with Granola. Um, but they don't know that yet. But and so yes, we get a cool conversation between them, and Neva is like, I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'll wait here until that day comes. And so I really like what they did with Neva. At first I thought he was gonna be some senile, like evil AF Namekian, he's gonna have like crazy magic, some crazy plan, but he's just an old guy who misses his people. He's just super old. He's very powerful, very wise, um, and he just misses his people. Um, and so Goku and the others, they're finally ready to go. And now with the massive tunnel that Goku made during his fight with Gomah, um, the air has begun to flow. Like all this air that hasn't been reaching all these other worlds is now flowing through all three demon worlds. And it actually, that gas in the third demon world, that thing made things so heavy, it was lifted. And so now everybody in the third demon world, all these worlds can now move and fly freely. And so I thought that was a really cool moment because it just kind of was a cool, little thing kind of showing in a way of how they were, oppressed, kind of the issue with Goma and Deborah and Abra, and just kind of the impact that they had on the negative impact they've had on their people. But Goku and the others came in and they took care of it, made all of their lives better. And so Goku and the others, they are taking off. They're waving, everybody's saying their farewells. And Ku waves back and he's saying, if things ever get crazy here, come and save us again. And Goku just says, okay, we will. And they return home. And so that's it. The episode kicks off or ends right there. The credits start rolling and the Jaka John starts playing and we start seeing, kind of like a little slideshow of everybody back on Earth returning back to normal. So we see uh Roshi, he's back to normal. He's looking at himself in the mirror. And we see Goten and Trunks back to normal. We see Boo or Mr. Satan, uh, and everybody. Kibito, Mr. Popo, Chi Chi, they're all back to normal. And that was really sweet. Everybody except for Gohan. Everybody except for Gohan. Uh, and it was cool. So these credits are rolling, and we actually get a mid-credit scene. And so we're still in the third demon world. Goku and the others, he's like, hey, let's stop. He wants to stop by the Ma and Pa store, that one with like That old couple that gave them like the bugs and stuff that they never used. The freaking join bugs that were never a thing. But I think they will be later. Um, so anyways, they go to the mom and pa store, and the ma, she's just like, I can't, what in the world? And she's just can't believe it Goku because he's a grown man now. And last she saw him, he was just a little boy. She's like, I can't believe how big you are. And so, uh, they're just chatting it up a little bit, and Bulma, she's looking around and sees like some of the bugs, the items they have and stuff, and she just, ugh, I can't, yeah, gross, that's so gross. What do these things even do and stuff? And she's like, oh, well, these ones do this, these ones do that, these ones make your skin supple. These are the butte bugs, and they make you, look younger. And so Bulma, like I said before, I said this when that episode aired, that Bulma is gonna come across these bugs, and this is gonna kick off her, uh, basically her mission or her adventure, her plan to try and de-age herself, and just keep her young appearance. And she buys up the whole barrel. She's like, I'm taking all of this. And then Pansy, she's kind of looking around. She picks up another dusty jar and just blows it off, and she just freezes. She's just like, "What? What am I looking at?" And they all come over and they look, and they all get the same expression on their face. And Ma is just like, "Oh, those are Terrian oculuses. Those are also known as evil third eyes. I used to have three of them, but one of them went missing a long time ago." And so she has this jar of the evil third eyes, and I guess there was three of them, and so now there's two there, and they just cannot believe themselves, and that's where it ends. That's the cliffhanger. They aren't even back on Earth yet, and man, what an episode! That action was a lot of fun. I loved the fights in this series so much. I'm probably gonna do another video talking about all of it. Um, but man, what a ride! Like, I'm gonna be I don't know. I'm bummed out. I'm gonna miss Daima, and I really hope they get Dragon Ball going again because frick, I need this series. uh, I miss Toriyama, and I can't believe this actually lined up so well that it lined up with the anniversary of his passing. And uh, all I can really say is thank you, Toriyama. Thank you so much for making this series and for leaving us with such a fun um uh final work that you might have done for us. Love it. Love Dragon Ball Daima. What a ride. What a beautiful story. Um but that's it, guys. Dragon Ball Daima is wrapped up. But that doesn't mean we're done here. We're gonna keep going. We'll still be uploading. We'll still have videos and content and stuff. I'm gonna be doing gaming. Monster Hunter Wilds just dropped, and so I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. Uh, if you're interested in that. But yeah, we'll keep doing Dragon Ball content. We'll keep uploading and stuff. And you guys take care. Have a good day. Have a good week. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And we'll catch you guys next time.